I miss it.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen.
What could I say after it's done?
Being able to care for a series is a lost art that older shows somehow perfected. It's not that newer shows can't accomplish the same feeling. Even in today's generation, we have series that are able to give us new ideas that seem far distant from the normal genre-specific tropes that are pushed onto its viewers. But recently, I've been having a consistent notion that something's lacking in today's series. Sure, I can read 50 chapters of a manga in a day's span, but don't you dare give me a 12-episode anime and expect me to finish it in less than a week. Maybe it's me. To be consumed in a show's totality is the greatest feat a series could ever accomplish. It means that the series has done everything correct, that all aspects of the show have been done to such a level that it's encapsulated every need a viewer could desire. It's also really hard to do. Even some of the greatest shows to this day struggle to truly achieve this due to lazy endings, boring arcs, or poor studio adaptations. It's something that isn't easy in any manner. It takes a masterclass in all the fundamentals of the show on every end. The mangaka who writes it, the studio who adapts it, the animators who bring it to life, the VAs truly becoming the characters. I'm just trying to say that there's a lot that goes into it. So when a show gives us something that feels complete, where it feels like every aspect was written with the intention to truly build a world that cares for its viewers' immersion, then you can truly care for a show. But I've found that there are a few standards that stay consistent throughout these love series, no matter how different they are. It has to be good. Animation, story, characters, and much more. Things that are true indicators of the amount of effort put into a series. There has to be a sort of quality to all of its aspects, which drives the overall reception of the series. But quality in this aspect is kind of ambiguous because what makes a plot or a world one of good quality? Take Neon Genesis Evangelion as an example. This is a show that really does have great quality. It is a good series by all its standards throughout everything it presents to its viewers. Great animation and choreography in a different time of anime that can encapsulate audiences of all types and generations, characters that you're able to gravitate to, a legendary story that's acclaimed to be one of the greatest in all of anime. But does that make it a good show? No. Being able to identify quality has to be an objective matter. Not every show that you love is a show of quality and vice versa. In terms of quality, it feels like there are certain thresholds and standards that it has to pass. Power systems, background stories, emotions, entertainment, everything must make sense. And not just that, but it has to be consistent in quality too, which honestly is the hardest part. It's a lot easier nowadays where series are able to take years in cultivating the product they want, but in order to do it consistently week by week without any inconsistencies, that's a little more difficult. It's also what makes a lot of these older series much more impressive to me. They were able to meet deadlines while maintaining a threshold of quality in an era where they expected a new episode every week, which feels impossible to maintain. Relatability is key. I can't stress this enough, but how can you enjoy something to its fullest potential if you can't even relate to it? If nothing within the series speaks to you in a way that you could understand and connect to real world situations, how will you be able to call it something you care for? It's impossible for 10-year-old me to care about the latest romance anime when I haven't even seen Two Girls, One Cup. For example, a show like Yu Yu Hakusho means so much to me, and by the first episode, it was immediately able to hook me. But it's in the fact that it was extremely relatable. It helped me see that even when it feels like nothing matters, when everything is at its lowest, there will always be people who care. And that resonated to my soul in so many different ways. It is the easiest way to make someone care for your show. And it's not just relatability in things that you've experienced, but also in things that you haven't. It's the reason why Sword Art Online had such an immersive first season, why Naruto is shown as main character, why you can find 50 different isekai that somehow all feel the same. It's the idea that you could see yourself in a character's shoes, the idea of sympathy or just the idolization of a certain concept. It's also the bane of new gen anime, ushering a new age that will come with the extinction of original ideas, but that's for a different video. Relatability is king in anime, and a show that can't factor it into any aspect of the show will never be able to create a fan base that's able to call the series theirs. It has to mean something to you. Is that a puffer with a bonnet? But what does that look like? The show gives me meaning. Jesus, that's cryptic. I meant the show has meaning. From world to world, character to character, storyline to storyline, there's no aspect within Hunter that has ever lost me. It feels so complete in how it's able to tell its tale. It's one of 2 series with over 100 episodes that I feel confident in letting myself rewatch because I know that I won't get sidetracked or bored. It's a series that I'll be able to immerse in for 3 weeks and finish just as satisfied as if it was my first watch, which is a testament to the show's longevity and how well crafted it really is. It's also something that I think is missing from today's shows: how to evoke emotions from the most rudimental pieces of storytelling. From the start, I'm ready to buy into everything, and from there, the journey it takes you on is one of a kind. But it's hard to truly understand without actually experiencing it. There's so many arcs, so many moments, so many things that I could tell you about, but it'd all be for naught. So instead, let me show you why I miss Hunter x Hunter. Silent assassin, a pure-hearted child, a corrupt yet kindred soul, and a strong mind. The main cast of Hunter x Hunter is so dynamic in its shaping that any 2 or 3 characters could have their own standalone episodes and it'll become an entirely different series. Take Gon, Killua, and Leorio. The vibes become almost hysterical and nonsensical. But take out Leorio and insert Kurapika and all of a sudden the atmosphere changes into one of confidence and retribution. And at the same time, all the different combinations of characters are able to set different batches of tones based off of the environment of the situation. It's something that I tend to geek out on just due to the versatility it's able to give this series. And it's something that extends far past the main cast. The antagonists, villains like Illumi and Hisoka, who have headstrong personalities but aren't just your average villains. Instead, they have their own motives and create unique flows within the story. Hisoka is a lord. Yeah, let's just keep it at that. He's allured to strength in any aspect and cultivating it to its greatest potential. He thinks of the potential of strength as a fruit, and once ripe, he picks it for himself to fight, only looking for the experience of fighting the strongest. This comes across not only in his encounters with Gon and Killua, but also with his counterparts like Illumi and Crollo, and even in all his endeavors of joining the Phantom Troop to fighting in Heaven's Tower, all to experience true strength, creating a character that feels real. Then there are the groups like the Zodiacs and the Phantom Troop, the arc-dependent characters like Meruem and his Royal Guard. It's within the dimensions that all these characters in Hunter have that gives them their depth, which gives the viewer the ability to immerse into the world as well. When it comes to characters and casts, older series have this down packed. A world with characters that are able to hold their own creates much more depth into the series. Sometimes series get too caught up in their main cast, feeling they must flesh them out before anyone else. But in reality, that only hinders the engrossment of your viewers. Instead, focusing on how you're able to detail every character to your greatest ability goes a much longer way. The intertwined web of characters and connections always giving the series something new to spin off of, but nothing compares to the Chimera Ant arc. To this day, one of my favorite arcs of all time, all for one reason and one reason alone. It's manipulation of linearity. Well, I guess not the entire arc. There's that one part with the setup and, well, I mean, it was cool. Exposition is important in setting up the deeper aspects of the arc and makes for a deeper sense of immersion, and it was boring. That aside, what do I mean by manipulation of linearity? The story is clearly told in a linear fashion, where fights follow each other step by step in sequential construction, and certain parts of the arc can't happen without something happening first. But it's less in the storytelling and more of the feeling of what's happening. This is where the world building and setting sets this arc up for pure success. Because the idea that everything that's happening in the same building feels like it's happening in the same building is very important. This happens in almost all your favorite anime. In Wano, the Straw Hats were all in the same castle fighting the separate battles. In the JJK Shibuya arc, the sorcerers were all in the same city trying to stop impending doom, but they don't ever feel like they're in the same place. It's almost as if every fight feels disjointed, more that they feel like solo showdowns, a place for them to prove themselves, up their ranking in their respective worlds, things that make sense for an average shonen. But Hunter takes this concept and uses the foundational setting as a way to amplify the average divide and conquer trope into a true feeling of using strategy to defeat their villain. Unconventional unconventional team-ups, inconvenient plot twists, and I'm not saying that they don't ever divide and conquer. Some of the greatest scenes from this arc come specifically from this strategy, with Netero vs Meruem or Gon vs Pito, where it is clearly set up in a one-on-one format, but they do it in a way of synergy. It never feels forced, it never feels disjointed, it always feels right. It's what makes this arc so special to me, because as an entirety, it feels so unique in its selection of characters, the quality of writing, and the sense of setting. It truly is a standalone piece in the world of anime. But why do I care? It just being older isn't an answer. Escapism, by definition, is the habitual diversion of the mind to entertainment as a square-ass definition. Look, escape, immersion, whatever you want to call it, you know when something means something to you. When you see a specific scene, a certain animation, something that sends chills up your spine, that makes you really think about the show. I realize I'm asking the wrong question. It's less of a why do I care and more of a how do I care. And with that, it's much easier to answer because it really is simple. The show made me care. It made me want to get lost in its world because it's so easy to. No matter where I look, there's always something to get lost in. The characters, the setting, the dialogue, the plot, the video games, the government. There is so much detail and care put into this series that it became impossible to not care. While they have their moments of hype, moments of amazing fight animation and choreography, they also put effort into the little details. The environment of York New City, the rules and specifics of their Nen power system, the game-like properties of Greed Island. Everything they do it with care. And so, as someone who is in love with the current trajectory of where new gen anime is headed, I just want to shed some light on the flavor of older series that used to care.